Okay guys, we've got the offset barbecue fired up at 250 degrees Fahrenheit, which then brings it around about 120 degrees Celsius mark. So this is where we like to run the ribs. Nice and low, nice and slow. You can see now that that rub has worked its way into those ribs and it's just beautifully coloured. So we'll get this into the barbecue now. We're going to run these for around about 2 hours in the smoke. Then we're going to come back and we're going to give you a look at the next step on how to get the perfect rib. Now what I like to do, I like to bunch them together, so when I put them into the barbecue I actually like to push them back a bit, because sort of how you lay them in there is how they're going to cook. So we'll just let them hang out a bit and we'll come back and we'll show you how they finish off. We're going to check on these ribs now. So we've been in about an hour and a half. We just want to check the colour of them and just see how they go. I've got some apple juice just here in a little spray gun, so we'll check them out. We'll see how we go with the bark and how it's going and what we need to do with them. So they are just looking amazing, but they do require just a little bit of apple juice. Go ahead, give us a good spray. Yeah, we'll just give you a quick look at those. Beautiful. We're going to let those go again, so we'll come back and check on them once again in about half an hour. Going to go through and check these ribs out just to see how far away they are from wrapping. So I don't like to wrap until I get a good colour and a good bark set. So we'll just check these guys out again. And so we've given them a good spray again. You can see here now the colour that these guys have got in here. They're not far away from wrapping for myself. Probably another 15 or 20 minutes in the smoke and we'll get them wrapped up and we'll come back and do that with you guys. Wrapping stage. So this stage allows us to get these ribs really nice and tender and where we need them to be. So a couple of things we'll do now. We're going to use some Smoky Q Bull's Head barbecue sauce, which is a brand new product for those guys. And we're going to use some Smoky Q smoked honey. All these flavours are going to emulsify with the rub that we put on the ribs before, and some brown sugar as well to get a bit of sweetness in there. So what we'll do here, we'll run some brown sugar along here. We'll tip a little tiny bit of honey into here. And then we'll run some barbecue sauce in here as well. Alright. Trick for this is meat side down this time, so that'll all sit along there really well. Alright. Just dribble a little tiny bit more brown sugar across the back here. Not so much the honey, but a little tiny bit of barbecue sauce across the back there again. And we'll wrap these up. Really nice and tight. Now the thing for wrapping ribs up is you don't want them to steam, so you want them wrapped up really nice and tight so there's no air in there. it just becomes a really nice tight little package with no air, no chance to steam, but just to get really nice and tender. So we'll just go and repeat the same process again. Grab a whole bunch of brown sugar there, because we really do like our sweet ribs. Grab a little tiny bit of this barbecue sauce. And some honey again. You're going to be able to find all this stuff on Smoky Q's website, which I am going to link in the description of this video, so you guys can get access to all this time. So again, we'll go wraps meat side down. Little tiny bit of brown sugar across the back again. And a little tiny bit more of this barbecue sauce across the back there. And again, just do the same process. Wrap them up really nice and tight. Don't allow them to steam. So we're about 3 hours in close. I've let those cook all the way through for about 3 hours. So the process now is they'll go back into the offset smoker, rib like as this sits now. So these will go in with the bones facing up and the meat side facing down until they get nice and tender. Now they'll go in for about an hour, and we'll go and we'll check that tenderness and make sure they're right where we need them to be. And then we'll give them a nice glaze and we'll enjoy some ribs. All right, we'll see you back on the other side of that. We're gonna check on these ribs now and see how these guys look. What we're looking for is tenderness. So we're gonna check these guys out. We'll just step you back there so you can see what's going on. So check these guys out and just see how tender they are and how they look for us. So ultimately what we're looking for is, yeah, they're done. They're nice and tender. You can see there that bone is, yeah, they're nice and tender. They're perfect. So ideally now what we do, lift the lid on this guy, just flip these back over. Have a look at that. That is divine. So get these guys back in here for the moment. We're going to put a glaze on these. And we'll be eating ribs very, very shortly. These are amazing. Again, these guys have got perfect tenderness, nice and juicy. And look at those colours, they are just phenomenal. So we'll pop these guys back in here for the moment. And I'll just get a glaze organised and I'll come back and I'll show you how we do that and what we're doing. Rightio, we've got some of Smoky Q's Bull's Head barbecue sauce for the ribs. So what I'm going to do now, I am just going to liberally pour that all over there. It might just be easier. pastry brush, and we'll just give that a really good coat. Right, we're just going to let that sit in the heat, guys, and that'll caramelise, and we'll have a beautiful glaze on that. We'll be eating ribs very shortly. Another 10-12 minutes in, we've let that sauce tack right up, so it's just become a really nice glaze. Time to get these inside. And I reckon we'll be eating ribs in moments. Look at the colours on that. Isn't that just divine? Perfect. We'll get inside and we'll get them sliced up. We're at the final stage now where we'll cut these guys up. So as you can see here, that glaze is just set perfectly. Those colours are beautiful and those ribs are done. So while I cut them up, we'll just recap on what we did. We put them into the offset barbecue at around about 250 degrees, and it was around about 3 hours before we wrapped them up with some honey, some sugar, some barbecue sauce, and then let that tenderize, and then we pulled them out to let them glaze, again with that same smoky cube barbecue sauce. We set that glaze for about 15 minutes. And then here we are, cutting ribs. These guys are perfectly done, beautiful colour, nice and moist and tender. This one here, I'm going to take a bite of this one here. That guy there, you can just see that really nice bit of meat, that nice bit of glaze. And that perfect bite. Just perfect. If you like what we do with our barbecue, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, go through and follow us on some more adventures, and get ready for the next barbecue video. Cheers, guys.